Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Get to Know Us. And this time it is with Carol and Rafa of AC Repair School. We are celebrating the 1 year anniversary of Órfãs this coming Saturday. And so today we're going to chat with them. And then later after this at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to have a listening party for the album on our Discord. If you want to join our Discord and you're interested in that, you can find the link in our link tree that's in our bio. So I'm going to bring on Rafa and Carol. See if I can do that. Okay. And by the way, if you haven't checked out the album yet, please do. It's I would describe it somewhere between dream pop and dream punk. Let's see if I can get Carol on here. I think Rafa's here. Hey, I'm trying to figure out it. Like, I saw the request and then it like went away. Okay. Of course. Hold on.
You hear me well?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to get Carol here. How am I? Let's see. I figured it out. Okay. Hey, sorry about that. Carol should be coming
Hi.
in. There you go. Sorry, it took me a minute. I saw your accepting, and then it went away. Like after I clicked on Hafiz, and I was like, "How do I do this?" And I had to. Anyway, I figured it out. So, how are you both
Okay.
doing?
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
Doing, yeah, doing great.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I was just letting everybody know that it'll be the 1 year anniversary this coming Saturday of Órfãs, although I'm not sure if I'm saying that properly. But yeah, I guess let's get into it. I always like to start out and ask folks how they first got into music as a listener. Maybe like a first song or album or band that you were really into, or whatever it is that you all want to talk about, obviously separately.
Yeah, you want to go first?
You want to
I guess I haven't figured out how to do that with the
Oh,
people.
you were born first, so you probably started listening to music earlier, so you can start.
Okay, let's start. I don't know. My family has always been into music. Being exposed to music really early, and I don't know, as early as I remember, I've been into it. So I started seeing it as an art form when my mother introduced me like David Bowie when I was, I don't know, 5 6 years old, and that's pretty much it. From there on, I just took a liking to it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Um, my family is not that musical, but my father is into music, and by that I mean he's into one artist,
Oh,
House Seixas. So I listened to that since I was a kid. Knew all the lyrics. Probably didn't understand any of it. I mean, House Seixas is pretty important in Brazil, so yeah. And then after
Yeah.
that, I think the first, I don't know, I enjoy Legião Urbana, which is also very important in Brazil,
yeah.
and Beachy. So all my early musical influences are Brazilian.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, and I forgot to mention to anyone who might not know in my intro that both Rafa and Carol are from Brazil, and although Carol, you're currently living in Germany, and so yeah, so and I think you were living there too when you all and were working on Orpheus, correct? Or
Yeah, I
yeah,
was already
awesome.
here.
Okay, cool. So separately again, I guess, and I guess together too. I guess you could answer this question like each of you, and then as AC Repair School. But when did you start? I guess first as musicians, like getting into writing and recording your own music, because you both have separate projects outside of AC Repair School, that go back, I'm sure, a lot further. Um, so anything you wanted to talk about that, and then also like how did AC Repair School start as a project?
Yeah, I got my grandpa's old guitar when I was, no, didn't get, he sold it to my father.
Yeah.
So, and I did never really learn how to play, so I just played my own songs. And this is not an Apple endorsement, but it will sound like one because I bought a MacBook in Paraguay because it was way cheaper than in Brazil. And they have GarageBand, and that was 2014. And then I started playing around with GarageBand, and I mean, before I had maybe composed, but like not really recorded anything, and that marked how I began recording my music.
That's awesome. And did that was that the beginning of Soft Verges or
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah.
Because then I traveled next year and I saw like soft verges because it's basically a traffic sign in the UK, like
Okay.
that the verges of the road are soft. And I thought, oh wow, that sounds that like I don't know, the cadence, the sound of that was so amazing. And I thought I
Yeah.
have to use that for something. And then I didn't have a band and couldn't find anyone to have a band with. It was before Rafael time. And yeah, so I decided to start recording my own stuff and I already had the name, so what more do you need?
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. What about you, Rafa?
Uh, I played drums when I was younger. I was a terrible drummer. I did few lessons and I got kicked out of pretty much every band that invited
Yeah.
me. And then I always loved doing other artistic pursuits, and I started using music as a support tool. So I did like RPGs. I used to be a dungeon master. I used to create soundtracks. I was into movies, so I needed soundtracks. So I was just like, I'm gonna start making my own music because I need some music in different places. And from then on, music became more important than the other stuff I was working on.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and I remember you talking a little bit about that when we were speaking with you and Pedro. But yeah. Yeah, and then I guess like how did you all start working together and get this project going?
Well, that we were both in a track from a friend of ours that never really came to life. And from there, we started talking on our own and trading some references. We saw that we were both into pretty much the same kind of music, at least in some way, the same kind of music. And I don't know, we were both, I think, just wanting to like do something with our time, musically speaking. Uh, like, I don't know what about you, Carol.
Yeah, no, I did not want to do any of that. No, it was pretty much the same for me. Like, yeah, I mean, we met through a friend and started talking, and pretty quickly we noticed, okay, we get along and we want to do something musically. And I think we probably made Orphans in the first weeks of meeting each other.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that happened pretty
yeah.
quickly. Yeah. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. Orpheus is like what it. So in English it's orphans. Just for in case people didn't know. And I guess yeah. What do you all want to say about the album as far as like meaning behind it? Whatever you're comfortable with sharing in terms of the album. What it's about, and also love to hear like your recording and your production process. I have a bunch of other questions too about it, but let's just start with those.
Yeah, what does it mean? I think I think the theme came by itself because it's pretty much about abandonment, but that was never a conversation we had. That was never a plan.
Mm.
Um, I just started singing by myself and sending tracks, all like improvised. And then Rafael improvised on top of that, or sent me something that he improvised, that they improvised, so that I was, yeah. So it was just a back and forth. And it turns out that all the lyrics and the instrumentation are pretty heavy.
Yes, definitely. They definitely are. And I thought it was really interesting how you all had said with a few of the tracks, I don't know how many, that it actually started with the vocals, which is usually not, I mean, that's just not it's not typical. So that's really interesting. And I don't know what you all want to say about that. And also any, Rafa, whatever you want to share too.
Yeah, we were just, I don't know, we were focusing, I believe, on the music first, then trying to create a theme, trying to create a concept. And sometimes I would send improvisations on keyboard, and sometimes Carol would just sing freely and send it to me. I would play, and I would put her recordings on and start playing with it as she was in the room and just picking up and recording stuff. It was very simple, but at the same time, it started to get really heavy really quickly. We were starting really see the points of connection in that theme of abandonment that Carol mentioned. So it was not a conversation when we started, but when we were ending, it sure became one.
That's interesting. It's sort of like you both are kind of somehow connected without like subconsciously on this theme or whatever. That's really cool. I guess I'm also curious. So like, was there a lot of back and forth on the tracks, or was it like one person would do one thing and then the other person would kind of work on it and finish it, or would it keep going back and forth? Because obviously you weren't living in the same place, so it was, you're doing this over the internet. Just kind of curious about that.
I think it went more back and forth once we got into the mixing and master portion of it. Then we were really trying to get like the right tone for Carol's voice. I don't know, the right mixing for the keyboards. Then we went forth. But while doing the core of the tracks, I think it did not have that many. I don't know. What do you think, Carol? I think it was pretty quickly.
Yeah.
We got the
I
core.
think it was just, yeah, the core was just one of us and the other one a track, and that's like how we have it, how we had it, and that's
Yeah.
pretty much what you have in the album as well. But of course, in the mixing stages, then it was like way more back and forth.
I see. Yeah. Yeah. That's really interesting. Yeah, and then just sort of magic just sort of happens. So that's really great. And also, so I think most of the album. Okay, so there's, in case people don't know, if you do buy the album, there's a whole bonus album called Pity Party, but that you get. But so it'd be interesting to hear about, why you chose to do that, or how the two of those fit together or complement each other. And then bringing up language, obviously both of you's first language is Portuguese, and there is, I think most of Orpheus is in Portuguese, but I think there's a little bit of English. And I think when we had talked about it, it's kind of like the opposite for Pity Party, where I think most of it's in English, and then there's the Portuguese. I think Rafa even said you had some German in there. I can't remember. I can't remember. I honestly can't remember.
I also can't remember, to be honest.
I know it'll be really exciting to listen tonight. again because it's been a while since it's been like it's been less than a year because I definitely listened to it some after it came out, but yeah. But yeah, I guess your choice when deciding to sing in language, how you kind of come about doing, choosing that.
I don't really know, actually. I mean, specifically Orphans and Pity Party, which was all of it, was mostly improvised. I think I wrote down maybe 2 verses for one song before singing it. So, as it was always improvised, the language just came by itself. So, I think Pity Party also has one track that's mostly in Portuguese. Like, one of them is, no, two, because one of them is Rafa's and another one is mine. And it just, I don't know, when it comes to, when I already have the instrumental part track from Rafa, then I would just feel what language seemed to fit that melody best. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I was just curious if there was what the intention was, or if it was really intentional, or it just came naturally. And it makes sense if you're improvising that it's
Oh yeah,
just kind of whatever.
but there's another reason. Yes, if I'm singing something that I really would rather people maybe didn't understand, I tend to do that in Portuguese because, I mean, it's just numbers. More people speak English than Portuguese, so unless it's something I don't want my parents to understand, and then or the people I know in Brazil,
Yeah.
then I'll sing in English. So
Okay. Okay. Y'all do know there's
Like
Google Translate if
songwriting.
somebody really wants to know. I'm just joking.
oh, Google Translate, right?
I'm just yeah, but I think you all did provide the lyrics in English too.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
So yeah, well, sorry, that certainly is not something that you ever have to do, by the way. Don't ever feel like compelled. I was speaking with Kate Can Wait the other day, and Spanish is her first language, and she tends to sing in both English and Spanish, and we were just talking about how just kind of like this. It's sort of sad and depressing how like a lot of artists do feel like the need to always sing, have everything be in English, like especially if they're trying to like make it or whatever as an artist,
Yeah.
and it's just like so I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. And I wanted to get into like your influences, and I think for you all, there are some music influences, but you had other outside, other non-music influences. So it'd be really awesome to hear about that and for this project, or even to you personally, like separately from AC Repair School.
Who's
You want to take this one?
well, actually, you posted a few days ago, like, I mean, graphics for this, and I reread the Quietus, what they wrote about us there, and there was a comparison to Body and Head, which, funnily enough, one of our influences was Sonic Youth, and to me, Kim Gordon is a huge influence. Like,
oh, awesome. Yeah.
huge influence. And Velvet Underground as well. We talked a lot about it, but
Yeah, that was a big
yeah,
one.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
yeah, but as you mentioned, yeah, we're called AC Repair School because of Community. So I think TV
Yeah.
shows are our biggest influence.
Yes, you were sharing with me
Sure.
some new
Yeah,
new influences with the TV. So you are working on some new material.
yep.
Yeah,
Dawson's
that's
Creek
exciting.
material.
Yeah, I'm really exciting.
Yeah, we're
And then
hired by. Yeah, when we first started doing Orphans, I was just watching the third season of Twin Peaks for the first time, and they have like the huge musical thing in it. At the end of every episode, there's an act, and there's a track, and that vibe started to be like we wanted to do something that could play
Yeah.
in our minds in an episode of Twin Peaks. So we wanted to achieve that kind of ethereal
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's very dreamy, I would say. Your album is, so that definitely, I could definitely see a track from Orpheus being played on a Twin Peaks episode. Did you hear that,
Nice.
David Lynch? Yeah, I'm sure David Lynch is not going to hear this, but hey, I think that
We don't
a
know.
lot of yeah, actually, I think a lot of Grimalkin artists would fit in well on a Twin Peaks-ish
Yeah.
type show. Yeah, that's really cool. And I was going to ask you about like Sonic Youth, because they've done a lot of really experimental type stuff. So are you more prone to like that kind of music from Sonic Youth, or more of their like more more standard grungy rock stuff? I'm just curious.
Both. Is that a
Okay.
fair enough answer? I don't know. I like a very
I think they do both,
what?
right? I think they do both
Yeah.
well.
So
Yeah.
like I love when it's experimental, but still you have like I don't know, some of their songs are so experimental, but at the same time so poppy.
Yeah.
Like even
Yeah.
their most famous songs, like Schizophrenia, which was from like their very beginning, it's experimental, but at the same time, it's poppy, and you can sing along to it. So I think they're
Yeah.
great at that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, are either of you really into something particular right now that you're listening to that you want to share and talk about at all?
Yeah, I mean,
You carry
what?
you have someone you've been
Yeah,
listening,
like
right?
your voice is sounding to me like my voice in the album, bit under the water.
We're getting a little robot-y or a little warbly, a little bit.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. That's interesting or not?
I know.
it is.
I don't know.
Yes.
I can hear you though.
Yeah, I think I'm listening. Actually, I was reading Kim Gordon's "Girl in a Band," so I was listening to a lot of Sonic Youth again. I was in that phase, but I also was listening a lot to Hannah Lee, which they're an artist from LA, based in Colombia, and I always forget the name of the track that Pure Naked Mind Without Center or Circumference. I think that's the name. I listen to that a lot.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
think
should
really
just
cool.
I
Go
should
ahead.
just send him like all the money I have for it. So I've listened to it so much. It would only be fair.
Yeah. That's all. Yeah, I checked it out after we had talked the other day. It is really cool. Yeah. What about you, Rafa? Is there anything do you want to shout out or been listening to or?
Not really, not really.
Okay.
I mean, just releasing old classics.
Okay. All right. Cool. Cool. Well, so as you obviously all know, Grimalkin Records, mutual aid is one of our values, and all of our releases, we usually donate tape proceeds to either like a person in the community that's local to the artist, or to an organization or a mutual aid organization that's doing work in their community. And you also graciously had donated the tape proceeds back to Grimalkin. I actually think you all. I don't quote me on this because I can't remember with 100% certainty. But I think you all were the first music band that we released that actually did that, and I was kind of like taken aback, if I remember correctly. I think so. So that was really kind of you all. But and other people have done it before since. But anyway, we really appreciated it. And I guess I'm just curious, especially since we were trying to transition to like 501c3 and do more with mutual aid. And after I lost my job, obviously that was like, we really needed more help because I couldn't invest more. So I really appreciated that. But I guess I'm curious about why you chose to do that and just anything you wanted to say about that. This is the part where we usually talk about that, so it's a little awkward because it is Grimalkin, but it is really, I do think we are doing important work, and I do think it's important for people to hear maybe why you would think it was important to donate to us. So in your own words. Well, yeah, whatever you all want to say about that would be great.
Yeah, I mean, Rafael came up with the idea, so go ahead.
Not only, I mean, a sense of wanting to give back, but really out of support. At that time, it seemed for us, or at least for me, I think Carol too, like what made the most sense doing. We were just taken back with what Grimalkin was doing and continues to do, and we wanted to, I don't know, help out, do something, and that was a direct way of doing when we were releasing something with the label. It just seemed to make sense in every way, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we really appreciate it. And Grimalkin is striving to also make changes within music, even if they are just small changes within the communities of people that we work with. But I always like to hear a little bit about how people are feeling about either positive things that they see going on locally, and then also like things that they want to see changed within music locally, and then also like more broadly within like music, either the music scene and DIY or the music business or industry or whatever it is that you all want to talk about. Yeah.
Well, I could talk about this for hours, so it's
Yeah.
better if I don't. Yeah, as we talked about, like I think not having major labels would be. Oh, where's Rafael? Oh
Oh no.
no. Okay, so I'll go on for hours
But
until
yeah,
they
you go
come.
ahead. I'm sure they'll pop back in when they can, and hopefully it's just like, oh gosh, every time we have a live Instagram thing, this happens. So
Yeah, as long as one of us can still remain here. Yeah,
yeah,
I think not having major labels would be a great start, in my humble opinion. And I don't know, they have just too much power and too much influence. And um, yeah, I think I would like there's so much diversity. I would just like, I don't know, to see more diversity in the way things are reported, for instance, in music journalism. More diversity, like in who has power in music journalism as well, because there are a couple of players. I mean, they're not listening to this, like Pitchfork. uh,
yeah,
okay, it's great. I read them, but I don't know. We need to have other voices getting the same amount of airtime, maybe. Um, yeah, the internet is a beautiful place filled with beautiful music, but yeah, sometimes I feel like only certain things are really rewarded.
yeah, yeah. Well, we definitely agree with you on that. There is so many problems within music with like diversity and power and who gets played and who is heard. And I mean, there are a lot of people that are trying to make changes and have started like, their own music sites and blogs and whatnot. And I think just, supporting those people more too, it would be is a good start, and then when it comes to like major labels, like, not to press you further, but I guess I'd be curious, like, just to hear, in your own words, what, what particularly are you like most bothered by or feel is like the biggest problems with those labels? And I'm assuming you're thinking like when you say major labels like Warner and
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
Sony and like, yeah. Yeah, anything you wanted to talk a little, if, if you want to talk
Yeah,
about that a little
sure.
bit. Oh,
Yeah,
and Anna just chimed in. There's way too much tokenism too in music, which is yes, that's very true, very true.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, I cannot say much about tokenism because I don't know much about that, but I do agree with that statement from what I know. But what bothers me, I think, about major labels, yeah, I just so much money, so much resources going to the same artist, and not even the artists are getting all of that. Like Taylor Swift, I don't really like Taylor Swift, if I'm being honest, which I guess is not a big deal, but
I hope the Swifties don't get word of this. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
yeah.
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
But like I do admire what she was doing with re-releasing her stuff in
Yes,
Taylor's version. I must
yes, me
say
too.
I like that. Like, yeah, or Kanye. Well, let's not get into that. But with the stuff like I want to have my masters, and I think
Yes, yes,
that's something that when you release with smaller labels or when you release it yourself on Bandcamp, that's never a question.
yeah.
You
Well, yeah,
you
like a very small
yeah,
label like ours, right? But there's some like smaller labels that I've heard about that are still like kind of, um, they get people into a contract where it's like
yeah.
you have to do this many albums before you can go elsewhere, and then you really don't have your, you know, you can't really have your masters until after this amount of time and stuff like that. And um, I guess I personally wish that a lot of the mid labels that are pretty like fairly successful labels that aren't like mega labels, to stop doing practices like that, because an artist should be able to like release with one label and then maybe they want to do something with somebody else, and why shouldn't they be able to? They shouldn't be like contractually like obligated to wait until they've had so many albums before they can go and release with someone else. It's like ridiculous. I don't know. In my opinion, it's
No,
ridiculous.
obviously, I guess obviously I agree with that. And I don't know, it's as I said, I could go on for hours. I have a habit of
Yeah,
ranting about stuff, and this is
that's
one of the things that
okay.
I rant about.
This is the part of the interview where we're supposed to rant about this stuff. Like I do, because I don't know how many people who aren't paying attention to this or in music really understand how awful the situation is for musicians, so, and artists too. So I could go on about
Yeah.
the gallery museum system too. That's another whole like evil.
Oh, yes, yes, it
Yeah.
is. I think when small labels do practices like that, uh, and also when bands that or artists who don't have a lot of recognition try to play that game, I think it's just because that's how things work. So if you want to
Yes.
be in the music
Yes.
industry, the show business, the business of
Yeah.
show, you have to do it a certain way, which like you don't have to do it a certain way. You
Yeah,
you can do
definitely
it,
not.
which that's what I don't understand. I mean, you can do it whatever way you want,
Yes, and
and
work out a deal that's comfortable for an artist, and not like this is how you have to do it. Like because like the contract thing, like where like it's like I said, a fairly like mid-label successful label like saying you have to do 3 albums before you can go anywhere else. To me, it's like, well, if you're doing a good job as a label and you're treating and paying your artists fairly and doing a good work, they're going to want to do another album with you. You don't need to like trap them into like three
yeah, it sounds
or
like a red
whatever.
flag, right?
To me it is like that's awful. But it happens more than you think. Like, I mean, I know people that it's happened to. I know people that's happened to, and I also know folks who, again, smaller label, bigger than Grimalkin, but not like even not even like mega, and um owning masters and then not giving them back, and then maybe even they changed their ways because there was a lot of pushback in the last few years about the owning masters thing. So maybe they're not doing that going forward. But what about all the folks you still own the masters for? You didn't
Yeah.
give them back yet. Like I know at least one artist who does not have their masters. And if the label has like decided now to not do that, they still haven't relinquish their rights from previously, you know, and so it's really, really awful situation. But I guess
Yeah.
Hoff is not making it back.
No, they
No.
sent me, uh, but I can't listen to it while I'm here.
Oh, I
So
see. I see.
I,
Oh gosh,
I
they
don't know
probably
what
had
they
an
said.
internet.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, we're getting towards the end here. So usually I like to just hear at the end, you know, any, you know, positive, you know, positive words of wisdom or hopes for the future, either for yourself or for others or the world, or anything that you want to share. You know, after we talk about all that negative stuff, wanting to shift it kind of to something positive, either things you want to see in music, or like I said, it could doesn't even have to be music. It could just be a personal thing.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
all the
There,
lights went
there we
out.
are.
Oh no! So all the electricity went out. I'm sorry. Rafa's in the chat. Sorry, Rafa, that this went out. Of course, it happened while we're doing this interview.
Of course.
I hope everything works out before the listening party. Gosh. Okay.
No, it seems like it was
Um,
just a short blackout, I guess. I'm assuming.
oh, great. Oh, wait. They're popping in. Wait. Okay. They're coming back in at the end here. Good. They're coming in for the positivity. But like, I guess I can see if Rafa wants to say anything about, about the negative stuff first. Hey, you're back. You're back.
High
Welcome
five.
back.
Oh, yeah, my lights went out. I'm sorry for that. They're
That's not
back
your
now.
fault. Yeah,
Yeah.
we were ranting a bit on you know, big labels and even just smaller mid-sized labels that kind of do things like own masters or put people in contracts for having to do a few albums before they can go anywhere else and things like that. But is there anything that you wanted to share about? Again, it can be positive too, about anything positive you see happening in music locally or elsewhere, or you know, things that you want to see changed. Um,
Well, in that point of labels, I think uh, people should like labels and artists should communicate better. Both big labels, but especially mid and small labels. Call your artists if you're in a label. Try to know them a little bit. That does make a difference, and I admire the labels that do put that effort.
yeah,
And that's pretty much it. I always say support your local music as well. Like people, I think we should listen more of our friends' music. We should like support small artists. That should be more common than it is. It seems so weird to listen to someone who doesn't have a fan base, so no one gets a fan base. I don't
yeah,
know. You should listen to more people. That's cool. Like support your friends' music.
yeah. And I mean, like one of the things like that we're trying to do at Grimalkin too is to sort of like cultivate that, you know, a community of support, and that we're uplifting each other and we're showing up for each other and we're checking out each other's work, um and kind of like building on that, because honestly, like, you know, no one else is going to do that for us. Like we have to create what we want to see and cultivate what we want to see. At least that's how I feel about it, and kind of intentionally make doing that. Um, you know, and if I guess if more labels could be more collective like that, and trying to like cultivate that, like smaller, you know, smaller labels that have artists that don't really have like big fan bases and whatnot. I think that would go a long way. It definitely makes it, you feel less alone. You know, you feel less alone, and you feel like what you're doing is of some importance, you know, to other people or what have you. Um,
Definitely.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the positive things I can say definitely is I love Bandcamp Fridays, and I love that so many people are like, oh, wait. Because I don't know, when people hear it's a special thing, even if it's not that special, they're like, I want to be into this. And I think
Yeah.
more people are figuring out like that Bandcamp exists and stuff like that. And I think
Yeah.
it's because like diversity starts also when the listeners, we as well, listen to diverse stuff, like to small artists. And a lot of my favorites are small artists, people that maybe no one else knows, but
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
great. What can
Same
I do?
here.
And I, yeah, try to also tell my friends about them. And I'm not that active in anything, but I do feel like since I've started doing things on the internet and posting and getting to know people, I have a small group of people that I know with whom to share all of that. And if I could say anything, I'm not, I shouldn't be giving words of wisdom to anyone. Maybe to a rock. I think I have, hmm, even though a rock has been there for
Uh,
a long time, so it knows what it's doing. It doesn't need me, clearly. Still, if I could, I would say like maybe the rock star dream is not that great. You know, you
Yes.
success is so relative. It's so absolutely relative. So you have the
Yes. Oh,
power to
yes.
set for yourself what success is. And I don't know, success for
Great
me
point.
is, yeah, like I would love to make enough money with my music or and my writing that I didn't have to have a day job, but like
Yes.
that's not even my biggest dream because like dream a little smaller, Carol. But I think my dream is like when someone listens to my music, when they feel connected to it. And with Orphans that has happened way more times than I was expecting. And that people really get you, you know? The feeling
Yes.
that
Yeah.
someone listened to your music and they're like, I get what you're saying. I feel it too. It's
Yes.
just one of the most rewarding feelings that makes me remember that I am human and why I am human. So,
Yes. Yes.
of course, everyone has different ways. Like, if you want to be the next Taylor Swift, go ahead. Who am I to judge your dream? But maybe that's not what's gonna make you feel good about making music and being alive. Maybe that's not the goal.
Yes, absolutely. I think defining what success is to you is really important because I think people see something big, something like you said, like Taylor Swift, and it's like, oh, like you need to have that level in order to be success, and that's not really true. And for me anyway, I think just having if one of the goals that I have for Grimalkin is that folks that release with us can make a living wage from their music. I mean, obviously, we're way far from that happening, but to me, that would that is successful. But also, just again, like having people listen to our releases, like that's really successful to have that happen, and that has grown, over the years, and you know, that's what keeps me going is all the people who, are supporting what we're doing and the artists that, believe in what we're doing. And, that's what drives me. Like, but I've also been a little bit of maybe I'm also a little bit of an oddball in that regard. Like I'm never like fame and fortune is like not even at all like to me what like I don't think not at all like something that I ever aspired to. So I don't really think that's what makes people happy either. Like I think probably
No.
quite the opposite. It's true.
I don't think
um
Taylor Swift is happier than me. I honestly don't think that.
yeah, probably not.
She
Yeah.
has her bills accounted for, probably, which is nice, but
Yeah. 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 um but yeah, so on the positive notes, okay, so I know it's funny you say you didn't have words of wisdom, but I mean, I think all of us have some words of wisdom, and I think that's really great what you said. And what about you, Hafa? What would you want to share as far as um, positivity to impart for others, or even just hopes for the future?
Yeah, I don't think I have any kind of words of wisdom as well. I don't know. It's hard to hope in the current of the current world situation, but like I hope that we are going to be able to start hoping some more in the future. Like
I hear
that's
you.
yeah.
It has been really dark and rough, like few years, and It has been really fun.
But I do, on a note that you both spoke, I do think like as an artist, happiness is within the small exchanges you make with other artists, with the public, with whoever listens to your song. Is that one good feedback that you did not expect? Is there one person that you never thought was going to like your music that did? Those little moments, they are bigger than fame, fortune, or Taylor Swift. So I don't know. That's where I'm.
Thank you. I seriously hope we don't get a bunch of hate stuff after this. I'm just joking. Just joking.
That could be a new catchphrase, bigger than Taylor Swift.
Oh gosh.
Why not?
On the inside, you know.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is really awesome. I really appreciate you both coming on. I love Órfãs, so it's such a great album, and I was very happy to be able to help you all release it. And so for everybody who is listening in, we are having a listening party on our Discord. It's at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which is. You all want to shout out what time that is in Germany and Brazil?
I think it's 10 p.m. here.
10 p.m.
Central Europe.
7.
Okay, in Europe and
7 here.
7.
Yeah, it's at 7.
7 p.m.
7 horas. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I didn't realize you were that far ahead. Hour-wise?
Yes.
I knew Europe was, but I didn't realize Brazil was. I thought we were only like an hour.
Yeah.
Different.
Yeah, it's 2 hours.
2 hours.
I don't know what changed it. But yeah.
Okay. So anyway, sorry about that. So yeah, so 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's in our Discord, and if you're interested in joining, we suggest you. Oh my gosh, Anna just said it's 5 a.m. in the Philippines right now. Thank you for showing up, Anna. Wow. Yeah, so if you want to join our Discord, we do advise you join it before the actual start of the show, just because you kind of have to like go through the rules and make sure, we got to vet people just a little tiny bit. But if you want to join, the link is in our link tree in our bio. And get on that now, and we'll see you then at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I was making sure I throw that in so people aren't confused. But yeah, it was really great talking to you both, and we'll see you in a bit.
Yeah, let's do this every week.
Yeah. All right.
Bye.
Okay, goodbye. See you soon.
See ya. Bye.